My child, you keep thinking your life needs to change all at once. That is one reason you feel so overwhelmed. You look at what is not working, what still hurts, what still confuses you, what still needs healing, what still feels unfinished, and your heart quietly concludes that the only way forward is a total transformation overnight. But listen carefully. You do not need a new life overnight. You need one true turning point. A turning point does not look dramatic at first. It does not always arrive with applause. It does not always feel like the full breakthrough you imagined. Sometimes it is simply the honest decision that changes the direction of everything that follows. A single turning point can do more than frantic effort repeated in the wrong direction. You have been exhausting yourself by trying to fix every part of your life at once. You want the healed heart, the restored peace, the new discipline, the clearer identity, the better relationships, the stronger faith, the wiser choices, the calmer mind, all immediately. And because all of that feels too large to hold at once, you end up moving in circles. You think about change more than you practice it. You desire movement more than you direct it. You carry pressure instead of direction. Pressure is not the same as direction. Pressure makes you feel busy inside. Direction makes your energy useful. Pressure multiplies urgency. Direction simplifies focus. Pressure overwhelms the heart. Direction steadies it. You do not need more pressure right now. You need direction. My child, one true turning point is often hidden inside one honest sentence. No more returning to what keeps breaking my peace. No more calling delay failure. No more postponing prayer until I am already empty. No more waiting for motivation before I do what truth has already made clear. No more treating confusion like a personality. No more living as if one bad chapter became my permanent identity. A life changes when one true sentence becomes one lived decision. This is what many people miss. They think breakthrough begins when they feel completely ready. But breakthrough often begins while the heart still feels tender, uncertain, or tired. Readiness is not always a feeling. Sometimes readiness is simply the moment you become unwilling to keep repeating what is harming you. You are closer to a new chapter than you realize, not because everything is solved, but because your tolerance for certain cycles is finally becoming lower. What once felt normal now feels expensive. What once felt acceptable now feels exhausting. What once felt survivable now feels too costly to keep carrying. That matters. Lower tolerance for what drains peace is often the beginning of wisdom. My child, you do not need to become a different person tonight. You need to stop agreeing with the part of you that keeps sending your life in the same painful direction. Agreement matters. What you repeatedly agree with begins to shape your path. If you keep agreeing with hopeless thoughts, your energy follows them. If you keep agreeing with delay as identity, your courage weakens under it. If you keep agreeing with old patterns as if they are unchangeable, you quietly build a future around them. But a turning point begins when agreement changes. You can say, I will not agree that this is all my life will be. I will not agree that fear gets the final word. I will not agree that one failure describes my future. I will not agree that peace must wait until everything becomes easy. I will not agree that my past gets to keep instructing my future. These are not empty affirmations. These are acts of spiritual alignment. My child, there are seasons where life improves, not because everything outside changes first, but because one thing inside refuses to keep bowing to the old pattern. One refusal can be holy. One clear no can save years of confusion. One surrendered yes can create room for peace that was never possible while you kept negotiating with what was harming you. Think of how many major changes begin quietly. A person finally tells the truth. A person finally leaves the cycle. A person finally asks for help. A person finally forgives without reopening the door. A person finally prays honestly instead of perfectly. A person finally becomes tired enough of their own excuses to stop protecting them. The world may not clap for those moments, but heaven sees them as turning points. My child, you have been looking for a miracle that removes effort. But many miracles begin by changing what effort now means. Not effort driven by fear, not effort driven by proving, but effort aligned with truth. Aligned effort is powerful. It does not scatter you. It does not push you into 10 directions. It teaches your life to move behind what matters most. That is why this message is not asking you to fix everything tonight. It is asking you to identify the truest turning point available to you now. Maybe it is the first honest boundary. Maybe it is the first returned prayer life. Maybe it is the first surrendered habit. Maybe it is the first full release of what you keep revisiting. Maybe it is the first day you stop waiting for perfect emotion and obey what peace has already made clear. Find the turning point, then honor it. My child, honor matters because truth must become embodied. You can hear something powerful and still return unchanged if you do not carry it into choice. Inspiration without embodiment fades. Insight without practice evaporates. Emotion without direction burns bright and disappears. But one true turning point, practiced with sincerity, becomes momentum. Momentum becomes character. Character becomes a different life. You do not need to see the whole staircase tonight. You need the next faithful turn. The enemy of progress is often not weakness. It is the demand to see everything before you move at all. That demand sounds wise, but many times it is fear seeking permission to remain still. Fear says, wait until it all makes sense. Faith says, take the truest next step and let clarity grow in motion. My child, what if the breakthrough you keep asking for is waiting on a simpler obedience than you expected? What if the new chapter begins not with dramatic change everywhere, but with one clean decision finally held with consistency? What if the thing making you feel far away is not that the goal is distant, but that the turn has been available and repeatedly postponed? This is not condemnation. This is invitation. Invitation into a life where choices are less divided. Invitation into a life where your mouth, mind, and spirit stop pulling in different directions. Invitation into a life where the next step becomes simpler because you are no longer trying to drag the old agreement with you. Turning points simplify because they end the inner argument. You have lived with inner argument long enough. Part of you wants peace. Part of you keeps feeding the noise. Part of you wants freedom. Part of you still protects the habit. Part of you wants healing. Part of you still romanticizes what wounded you. Part of you wants a new future. Part of you still kneels before old definitions of yourself. No wonder you feel tired. Division drains strength. A turning point restores integrity. It brings your inner world into cleaner agreement. It says, I will stop helping the cycle I say I want to leave. That single integrity shift may look small from the outside, but it changes everything. Because once integrity appears, peace finds somewhere steadier to live. My child, you are not behind because change has been slow. You are not disqualified because you have repeated lessons. You are not broken beyond restoration because the same chapter lasted longer than you hoped. But you must stop speaking about yourself as if delay became identity. You are not the one who never changes. You are not the one who always ruins the progress. You are not the one who almost becomes free. Those labels are not truth. They are discouragement trying to sound permanent. I speak a better word over you. You are teachable. You are still being formed. You are still capable of clean decisions. You are still able to cooperate with grace. You are still one true turning point away from a direction that feels profoundly different. Do not underestimate what one honest turn can do over time. Many people underestimate compounding faithfulness. They want instant transformation because instant transformation would remove the need for patient obedience. But patient obedience is not a lesser miracle. It is the architecture of many lasting miracles. One prayer becomes a new rhythm. One boundary becomes a protected mind. One surrendered habit becomes a clearer heart. One clean refusal becomes a rescued future. One consistent turn becomes a different life. My child, this is why I am calling you away from emotional extremes. Extremes are not stable enough to carry lasting change. Grand promises made in intense moments often fade when ordinary pressure returns. But a true turning point can survive ordinary days. It becomes something you repeat when the room is quiet, when no one is watching, when motivation is low, and when the old path still feels familiar. That is where transformation becomes real. You do not need to feel powerful every day to live powerfully. You need to become faithful in the place where truth already stands. Feelings will rise and fall. Clarity may sharpen and soften. Energy may be high one day and low the next. But the turning point remains true even when emotion changes. That is why it can carry you further than inspiration alone ever could. My child, there is also mercy in how I lead you. I do not always hand you the whole future at once because your heart would try to manage what it was meant to trust. So I often begin with a turning point. One place, one decision, one surrender, one act of courage, one faithful redirection. The turning point becomes the doorway through which the rest can unfold in time. And yes, sometimes one turning point is simply telling the truth about what has to end. Not later, not when it is easier. Now. Truth may feel sharp for a moment, but untruth keeps cutting for years. Sharp honesty heals cleaner than prolonged compromise. Maybe your turning point is ending the conversation that keeps reopening the wound. Maybe it is changing the rhythm that keeps stealing your mornings. Maybe it is praying before the spiral instead of after it. Maybe it is refusing to let loneliness make every wrong door look holy. Maybe it is returning to discipline not as punishment, but as protection. Whatever it is, do not call it small if it changes your direction. My child, direction matters more than speed. A slow life moving in the right direction will eventually outrun a frantic life going in circles. Do not be impressed by motion that has no truth beneath it. Do not envy people whose lives look fast if the fruit is fragile. Do not despise your pace if your direction is becoming cleaner. A clean direction with me is worth more than rapid movement without peace. That is why I am speaking to you this way tonight. Not to overwhelm you, not to place more weight on your shoulders, but to free you from the lie that the whole mountain must move tonight. It does not. The true turn must happen. Then the path changes. Then the future begins to feel different, one faithful step at a time. My child, one day You will look back and realize that your new chapter did not begin when everything became easy. It began when one truth became more important than one excuse. It began when one surrendered yes outweighed 100 fearful delays. It began when your heart finally became tired of circling and willing to turn. That day can be nearer than you think. Do not wait for a louder sign if truth has already become clear. Do not ask for another month of confusion if the turning point is already standing in front of you. Do not kneel before the complexity of the whole future when I am only asking for the honesty of the next step. I do not need you to carry tomorrow tonight. I need you to honor the turn available now. Let me pray for you. Father, meet this person in the place where life has felt overwhelming and too large to change. Quiet the pressure that says everything must transform at once. Reveal the true turning point before them with clarity and peace. Give them courage to obey what is already becoming honest in their spirit. Turn their energy into direction, their pressure into focus, and their fear into faithful movement. Amen. My child, you do not need a new life overnight. You need one true turning point. If this message reached your heart, write in the comments, one true turning point. My child, let me make this even simpler for you. The turning point does not have to impress anyone. It only has to be true. It may look ordinary from the outside. A different morning rhythm, a message you choose not to send, a boundary you finally keep, a place you stop returning to, a habit you no longer excuse, a prayer you stop postponing. But heaven understands the power of ordinary obediences, because ordinary obediences repeated faithfully create extraordinary change. Do not wait for the kind of moment that feels cinematic. Do not assume transformation only counts when it feels intense. Many lives are changed quietly. One clean turn, one honest day, one faithful repetition, one refusal to help the old cycle survive. That is how futures shift. My child, you are not powerless just because the whole picture is not visible yet. You are not trapped just because the full solution has not arrived. You are not failing just because the process still feels gradual. You already possess the ability to take the next honest turn. And when you take that turn, grace meets you there. Not after 10 perfect days, not after flawless discipline, not after all fear disappears. There, at the point of truthful surrender. So stop speaking as if your life is waiting on a miracle too large to imagine. Sometimes your life is waiting on the next true step you already know. Honor that step. Repeat it. Protect it. Build around it. And you will discover that one true turning point can become the quiet beginning of everything. My child, there is peace available to you even before the full outcome appears. That peace comes when you stop demanding that tomorrow explain itself tonight. That peace comes when you stop negotiating with what has already become clear. That peace comes when you let one obedient step be enough for this moment. Enough does not mean small. Enough means honest. Enough means aligned. Enough means you are no longer pretending confusion is your only option when truth has already begun to speak. Many breakthroughs do not begin with excitement. They begin with relief. Relief that the inner argument can finally end. Relief that you no longer have to keep protecting what is draining you. Relief that you are finally facing the point where your life can start becoming simpler, cleaner, and more peaceful. My child, do not fear the simplicity of the turning point. Simplicity is not weakness. Simplicity is often mercy. When life has been noisy, A simple next step feels almost too small to matter. But small and clear is stronger than grand and divided. A clear step carries peace in it. A divided dream carries delay in it. So when I show you the turn, do not insult it by calling it too simple. Walk it, because the power is not in how complex it looks. The power is in how true it is. And truth, practiced consistently, can rebuild more than panic ever could.